All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Daniel, and this talk is part of the Growth Summit, Growth Mentor Summit happening right now. And today we're going to be talking about how to acquire your competitors' users. Um, I quickly want to share my experience. So I started my career in outbound sales and then moved towards inbound marketing and growth marketing, and that's what I'm responsible for at HelpCrunch. HelpCrunch is a customer communication platform. It's a B2B SaaS product, and most of the examples I'm gonna focus on today is primarily would be valuable for B2B SaaS companies, but I'm pretty sure those would be useful as well for other industries, if primarily if you're in B2B. And also love doing one-on-one calls with different startups and helping them with different strategies and tactics over at Growth Mentor. So let's start. First time when I joined HelpCrunch about 1.5 years ago, I faced this situation where the market was so saturated and there are lots of different solutions on our in our market, and our main competitor had like 30 times employees than we did at the time, 50 times more users, and if you're in the same situation when you're not the leader in the industry, you may be thinking like, "Yikes! What are you gonna do about it?" And there are lots of different strategies to implement, and what would be the most effective ones, right? So my idea, my advice to you, if you're in a similar situation, is like to romanticize, not romanticize it, and try to do and implement different strategies that would be most effective. So we're gonna focus on how to acquire competitors' users, why it's most effective, because it's generally easier and cheaper to acquire those customers first, and second is it means a shorter sales cycle. Also, once you try to focus on acquiring your competitors' users and talk to them, you'll gain some valuable insights on your competitors' products, get product feedback, and also like generally you'll get a much better market overview, and those competitors users may give you really great insights onto what to build next, and yeah, work on your product roadmap. Would be it's a more clearer path for you. So when it makes sense to acquire your competitors' customers, well, first, if you're in a competitive niche. Also, if you're just starting out, or your startup very is not very mature yet, you have limited marketing resources, then it makes total sense to acquire your competitors' customers first. So yeah, in terms of overall, like when I look at different acquisition strategies for different startups, I mostly see that they are different and most effective at particular growth stages of a given product. So what we'll be focusing on is the growth stage exactly. Once you've validated the market, once you've launched the product for the first 10 or 100 customers, then you want to scale a bit, but you don't have a lot of marketing resources to invest. So your best bet right now is to acquire your competitors' customers. So we're gonna discuss different strategies to go about this. But overall, like to give you an overview of how the inbound customer journey looks like, mostly according to HubSpot, you have basically three different stages: awareness stage, consideration stage, and decision stage. To give you an example, like in our case, we one of our most most valuable and essential features is live chat that you can install on your website, for example. So for us, the inbound journey might look something like this. So our customers realize that they lose their customers due to long first response time that they basically do support via email, and it takes a long time. So to resolve customer issues. So buyer realizes the problem at this stage and wants to solve it somehow, and he realizes or she realizes the type of solution needed to solve the problem of long first response time, and they are basically looking to integrate live chat feature, live chat products into their tech stack to provide faster support for visitors or customers on their website. And once they do realize what type of solution they need, they decide between different solution vendors. So in our case, in our markets, live chat or talk or intercom that you are some of the leaders in the industry that you might be also familiar with. But if you're in a competitive niche, customer journey we may add one more step to this process, to this journey, and that's what I call a repurchase stage. So it's basically what we're gonna focus on is when your buyer is not happy with the current solution that they've previously chosen, and they look for different alternatives. So you can be there with your solution, and all of your advantages clearly explained on why your solution is better than the current one the buyer is using right now. So yes, the buyer intent is the highest at this stage because buyers already understand what of the solutions they need, what are all of the advantages of it. They just need to pick the better alternative. So yes, the buyer intent is the highest at this stage, but also what I suggest why to focus on competitor user acquisition first is it's much cheaper and doesn't require a lot of resources. So at the early stages, you can focus on that, and then move your acquisition strategy as your company grows towards the left, right? So you can then focus on becoming a leader in this space and become one of the best solutions in a particular software category. So yeah, to implement this competitor-based strategy, acquisition strategy, you basically need to do two things right. Create the right type of content and target the right audience with it in the right place and at the right time. So a lot of startups, especially with technical co-founders, tend to think that if they build a great product, they will come. So users will come naturally, organically. But in B2B SaaS space, especially in a competitive niche, it's really hard to acquire this first customers. So you need to do marketing basically and talk to your users. So we're gonna build a home for them. There are 5 tactics that we're going to discuss to bring those competitors' users to your home. So first, we're going to focus on content that would be the foundation of all of the other tactics and strategies that you can implement. So let's start with it. Content, first some of the tips, like high-level tips that I suggest. So content must be SEO optimized, so people that are searching, for example, for alternatives to their current solution can find you indeed on Google. It should be your content should be confirming buyers' issues with the current solution and explaining why your solution is better than the current solutions that they're using. Types of content that you can produce is landing pages first. You can create comparison pages comparing your product to your biggest or some of the biggest competitors of yours, and they're converting really well. But the problem here is with landing pages, especially if you're running a new solution, it might be you probably don't have a high domain authority just yet, and so it would be harder naturally to rank organically high at the top of Google at first. So your best bet would probably be long form blog articles. You can produce a lot of those, comparing different alternatives and solutions to some of the leaders in the industry, and explaining why your solution is the best one among them. So yeah, you can pick different keywords that have the highest intent here, and so one of the examples is producing a blog post, something like competitor X alternatives or competitor X competitors. Those types of blog posts typically drive a lot of traffic and have the highest intent, so they will probably convert the best among all of your blog posts. You can also compare your one of the leaders in the industry to another solution which is also popular in your market, and yeah, for us it works really well when people compare Intercom to Zendesk, and then in our blog posts we show them that there is a certain alternative that they've never heard of, but for particular use cases, it might be even better for those customers. So once you produce this type of content, landing pages and blog posts, you can distribute it. So first, if you can rank it high in Google at first, you can distribute it and use other platforms, high domain authorities, and this way rank your content higher. So one of the best platforms for distributing content is Quora. If you've never heard of Quora, Quora is a great Q&A site with so what's important for us is that it has a lot of competitor based questions, and it tends to rank really high in Google. It has high traffic and domain authority, and you can build a scalable process of answering those type of questions on Quora and get some consistent traffic, signups, and paid customers as well. So a few quick tips on how to set up the process. So basically, you go to Quora and write out all the repurchase stage or competitor-based questions there. You can also do it. You can either do it manually, or you can use a software tool like it's a data miner. It's a Chrome extension that lets you scrape any website content, and basically on Quora you can scrape all of the questions that you need, and then you just write high quality answers. I recommend answering at least one question a day and write a really high quality answers, and this way you'll end up with 30 answers a month, and this will give you some results, and which you can analyze and understand whether this channel will works for you or not, and then you can scale it and build more answers each month. So it's really important to track analytics and see which answers give you the best results. So once you get some consistent results on Quora, you can scale the process to get even better results. You can create multiple Quora accounts for your company's marketers or founders to answer these questions. You can answer the same questions that work for you from multiple accounts. So so you get some more real estate on the questions that you answer, and that's why it creates a effect that your brand is mentioned more frequently in the same questions, and naturally more people remember your brand and try to see if your solution will work for their use cases. Also, you can scale the process with Quora ads. So for example, for us, we've reached the peak of organic Quora traffic, and basically we can amplify the results by running ads. But we're going to talk about Quora ads in a second as well. So also, which are some other platforms that you can distribute your content to is, for example, Indie Hackers. It's a platform for early stage products. There is a great community, and you can post your content there. For example, one of my posts that took like 5 minutes to write got more than 100 upvotes, a lot of comments, more than 1,000 views, and also a lot of traffic to our blog posts. Covering one of the 5 intercom alternatives, and we got some signups and 2 paid customers. So pretty not bad, right? For just one post that took 5 minutes to write. So I advise you to distribute your content to a lot of platforms to see which may be converting and better. So you can also look for Facebook groups that have the communities that your potential customers may be hanging out on. So in our case, it's SaaS. You can look for e-commerce, I don't know, drop shipping, whatever your product is all about and what your target audience is likes to engage with. So other platforms that you can distribute your content to is Growth Hackers, Medium, Reddit. Zest is a great resource, and Hacker News. So it might be different for depending on the solutions that you're building, but these are some of the most popular ones. So, and it's really important to get into 10 of the top 10 search results for a given keyword. So in our case, let's see, so for keyword intercom alternatives, some of the places that you can try to get into with your content may be really hard to get into. Some of are easy. So for example, with blog posts on some popular resources that were already written, we tried to reach out to them and ask to include our solution in their alternatives blog posts. But sometimes it's really hard to get in there because the editors or blog authors just reply that they are not editing any content after it's published. So yeah, sometimes it may be hard. Sometimes it's easy. For example, with Product Hunt, you just launch your product in Product Hunt and you can submit your product to relevant questions. It's called Ask category at Product Hunt, and you can simply submit it, and it's an easy way to go. Yeah, you want your blog post to be at the top of Google, and this blog post will drive you the most traffic and signups and people contacting you about your solution. And sometimes it can be really expensive to get into the top 10 of search results because there are review platforms like Finance Online that ask for $1,000, $2,000 to get into their lists, and sometimes it's nearly almost impossible to get into the search results because they're like your competitors comparing their solution to another competitor, and those are their landing pages, so there's no way they can add you there as well. So try to get into as many as possible, and you'll see much better results than just having one post mention you. So you can amplify your results with also with paid traffic, with advertisements on different platforms running PPC ads. So one of the obvious ways to do this is Google Ads. So as you can see, for a popular query, there are like 4 ads at the top, and only then you get some organic results there. And at the very at the bottom, you also have 3 advertisements as well, leading to, I think, to the landing pages, comparing, give an alternative to the solution that is being advertised. So if you have a budget, you can experiment with this, but typically on Google, the pay-per-click, it tends to go really high. So you need to consider the cost here, obviously. Quora ads, I suggest to experiment again with Quora ads because it's a pretty new advertisement platform, so it does not have a really high cost per click. And also you can really target your competitors, potential competitors, customers, with your content or the existing ones. So Quora has some really good targeting options where you can pick a topic, a question, or a keyword and target your competitors' users by it. And also, what's really cool is that you can write a really high quality answer again, and then push it and promote that answer by via Quora ads. And this way, like if you compare image ads or text, simple text ads with answer promotion typically looks much more organic, so people tend to click on it more than a simple text or image ad. So I highly recommend to test this ad platform as well. You can also, if your competitor is a leader in the space and a lot of people know about it, you can target them by interest on Google. So, for example, in this case, MailChimp has a really big audience of people who are interested in it, over 2 million. So you can basically target easily them on Facebook. What you can also do is target your competitors, potential competitors, customers, by running Capterra ads in a certain category. So you basically list your product on Capterra or, for example, G2, and Capterra allows you to run PPC campaign, and the default sorting algorithm, sorting option for any software category is sponsored one. So if you pay enough to them, then you can be at the very top of your category, and people will click to your product and not your competitor's product. But yeah, you need to again consider the cost. The basic cost per click on Capterra is $2. But at some very competitive categories, such as, for example, live chat, depending on the geography, so you can even not get to the very top with 10 or even $20 per click, or even $50. So it really depends on the categories that you're listing your product in, and yeah, just try to see what kind of results that you can get with Capterra. So then one of the interesting ones, one of the interesting tactics to target your competitors' customers, very targeted one, is cold outreach. So basically, you can reach out to your competitors' products and get them to use your product. The higher ARPU, the average revenue per user, the better, because cold outreach basically takes a lot of resources really to set up the whole process, to pay also for software, for cold outreach software that you're gonna use. So it really takes a lot of resources, and so the higher revenue that you get per user, the better the margins will be. You should nail all 3. It's very important with cold outreach. So you need to define your who, your what, and when. And also, I suggest to leverage multi-channel. You can run not only cold email outreach campaigns, but also at the same time target the same people on LinkedIn, and also do Facebook retargeting, for example. So there are a lot of tactics that you can use to target your competitors' users via cold outreach. We're gonna focus on a couple of them. So first, what you need to do is find your competitors' users, then find their contact info, and then reach out to them. So let's take a look at some of the tactics you can use. So you can find your competitors' users on platforms like Public www. It's a free platform that you can get a lot of results from. So basically, you type in a snippet of your, for example, competitors' code that's installable on one's website, and you get an output of all of the sites or domains that have this competitor's product snippet installed. Also, if your product is not installable on one's website, you can use other platforms like BuildWiz, SimilarTech, or Snovio TechTucker, where you simply type in the technology that your competitors of your competitors solution, and then you get the output of all of the sites. Or for example, they also give out the already the contact info of those decision makers at the sites that use your competitors' products. But if you do not get this contact info right away, you can use email finding or other contact info finding tools. For example, I recommend Snovio because it's a really all-in-one platform called outreach platform that allows you to first find your competitors, customers, then find their information or emails of the decision makers at those companies, and then build a drip email campaign to target those users. Also, some of the alternatives for finding email addresses are Find-That-Lead or Hunter.io. And what also important is that you can find not also emails, but also Facebook profiles, Twitter, LinkedIn profiles via Phantom Buster. It's one of the best growth hacking tools available right now, and you can do so much with the APIs that they provide. So yeah, you can with this you can reach out to those people, to your competitors' users really easily. One other example is not search for technology, but find your competitor's launch on Product Hunt. So let's say your main competitor is MailChimp. You go to their product launch on Product Hunt and basically scrape all of the upvotes of their product there with Phantom Buster. Phantom Buster APIs allow you to extract all of the upvoters of the given product, then scrape their product hunt profiles, so you get a Twitter profile out of it, and then you can auto follow people on Twitter thanks to another Phantom Busters API that they provide. And then after those people follow you back, you can message them and automate the DM sending via Phantom Buster as well. So you can automate basically the whole process and reach out to those people that have voted your competitor's product launch and Product Hunt. Also, if those people do not follow you back on Twitter, or you want to speed up the targeting process, you can basically, with the list of Twitter profiles, you can run ads and target those competitors' users of yours this way. And yeah, basically you can do the cold outreach, sending emails, and try to be creative with it, because decision makers do not have a lot of time, so you need to be creative and really pitch them that and structure your email or just message pitch is this way that you know that they are using your competitor's product, and they know that typically users of such solution face this and that kind of issues. So they have some pain points, and so your solution really solves those pain points. And you basically need to pitch this. I suggest to pitch your competitors' users this way. So yeah, you can again do Facebook retargeting. It's very simple. You get your whole list of competitors' users, upload it to Facebook custom audience in a customer file, and yeah, that's basically it. What are some other creative ways to target your competitors' users is do launches. So this is a great, if you haven't launched your product yet, let's take a look at some of the tactics to do it. So product hunt launch lets you expose your product to a really high, to a big audience, and there are lots of, I'm sure, go to like how-to guides on how to launch your product on Product Hunt. So I'm not gonna focus on that. Just want to mention that again, you can reach out to those competitors, uploaders on Product Hunt via Twitter. Once you launch your product, you get more posts, for example. Also get your competitors' users' feedback on your product in the same category. And also you can do Facebook retargeting to those supporters, and you can also outreach to do the outreach to Product Hunt's group members on Facebook. There are like 20 or 30 different groups of Product Hunt users on Facebook. So you can scrape again with Phantom Buster all of those members and to reach out to them manually, for example, on Facebook, or do retargeting on Facebook. And there is also a good hack that you can run ads on Facebook against Product Hunt interests. So there is a big audience of people on Facebook who love using Product Hunt, and this way you can growth hack your launch and get more upvotes and become hopefully product of the day in Product Hunt. Yeah, so once you launch it, as I mentioned, you can submit your product that you've launched on Product Hunt to different categories and questions in the Ask for Collection category on Product Hunt. And this way, for example, in this case, there is a question on what are the best alternatives to Intercom, and people get to upvote your product again in this list, and you can get to the very top. And this question, for example, on Product Hunt ranks really high in Google again for a given keyword. So you need to, again, try to get on as many spots on the top 10 search results. And this is launching on Product Hunt and submitting your product in this type of questions can help you with this. So after you launch your Product Hunt and you get some exposure to a wider audience with your product, you can launch your lifetime deal. So this is one of the greatest and like bootstrapping ways to get a lot of users, paid users, not subscription users, but so you get a lot of lifetime deal users. So the concept is basically you launch a really high, a really great deal that people cannot resist, which gives access, lifetime access to your product for a quite low price. So for example, 59 or 99 bucks, and you get a lot of users at once. You can, so my advice is to talk to a lot of, to all of the LTD platforms that help you launch this kind of products. One of the popular ones is AppSumo. other ones are Stack Social, Dealify, or there are even Facebook group communities that help you launch a lifetime deal. It's really important if you launch it to provide great support for those lifetime deal users, because at this early stage, they're basically your early adopters, and they can help you, bring more referral traffic, more word of mouth to your products, and it's a great tactic to connect with them, create, for example, your community with them, and also these early users can help you drive a lot of reviews on review sites. So if you have a software product, you must submit it to Capterra and G2. And so if you still don't have a lot of subscription, for example, users, launching a lifetime deal can bring a lot of users your way, and you can collect from them a lot of reviews for the review sites and become even a leader in a certain in the categories that you're targeting. But it's really important, if you know or just exploring the LTD option, you need to learn from your competitors' LTD launches. So in most of the cases, a software product in your category has already been launched at some point in time. So you need to take a look at what they've done wrong or right. What is the plan that they've launched consists of, what are some of the features that they've launched, and look at people's reactions to their LTD launch. And this way, you can learn from it and have a better launch than them and get more users, more reviews, more revenue out of it, which is probably the most important to keep going with your product. So basically that's it. We've talked about 5 tactics to bring your competitor's user home to your home. Again, you need to really focus. You need to nail the content part of it, because it becomes the foundation for all of the other tactics that you're gonna do. And that's basically it. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me. Thanks a lot for listening to the talk. At any time, I'm happy to help you. Again, as mentioned, I'm a mentor at Growth Mentor, and I also wrote a detailed post on how to steal your SaaS competitors' users on the Growth Mentor blog. So you can read, if you need some more details on the tactics that we've discussed today, I suggest you to explore this post. And if you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to me either on social media or over at Growth Mentor. Happy to to dig deep and explore your products and your use case, and so your current situation, how you can utilize all of the tactics that we've discussed to get a lot of to streamline your acquisition and bring more of the competitors' users to your product. So thanks again. Hope it was useful, and see you next time.